what's happening. So, Gennady Golovkin beats Murata in the 9th round by TKO. This fight was entertaining. It was entertaining, and big up to Gennady Golovkin. He got the win. However, I am going to say this. Gennady Golovkin looked like a fighter who has become old. Let's talk about the positives. Gennady Golovkin shipped a lot of punishment and was able to take it and come back later in the fight rather. So he took his punishment earlier in the fight, he shipped his punishment, he sucked it up, and he was able to come on strong later on in the fight. And the other positive that I would say about Gennady Golovkin is the early success of his jab. He was able to mark up the face of Murata. Relatively early on in the fight with the jab. So Gennady Golovkin has some positives with regards to the jab and his ability to still take punches, because Murata was landing with regularity, whether it be to the body or to the head. So effective jab, and also the ability to take punishment still seems to be there even though he's 40 years old. And let's talk about the negatives with regards to Gennady Golovkin in this fight. His legs didn't seem right. He seemed to be a bit wobbly. His footwork didn't seem to be great. He seemed to not have the balance that he used to have. And that can happen with age. Look at Alexander Povetkin in the second fight against Dillian Whyte. So he seemed to lack the balance, and his legs seemed to not be fully underneath him in this fight. And because of that, he was probably getting hit with more punches than he would have done. Now, the other thing I noticed about Gennady Golovkin in this fight is he was fighting a lot more on the back foot than I'm used to seeing him. I know against Canelo in the second fight, he was fighting primarily on the back foot. However, in this fight, he was getting pushed back by Murata at the start quite a lot. And that is something that I'm not used to seeing with regards to Gennady Golovkin. So, is Gennady Golovkin losing some physical strength there? Or is Murata very physically strong himself? So, that's something I noticed with Gennady Golovkin. Getting pushed back a lot, and his legs didn't seem fully underneath in this fight. And the other thing I want to talk about is Gennady Golovkin being hurt to the body in this fight. Now, Murata was hitting the body with regularity. Some of it looked like it might be a little bit low, but he was hitting the body with regularity. And Gennady Golovkin didn't like it. He didn't like it. It looked to me like Gennady Golovkin was vulnerable to the body again, because he displayed that against Derevianchenko, getting hurt to the body. And I think Murata missed a trick here, because he started off going to the body with regularity, and then he seemed to move away from going to the body. I reckon if he kept going to the body, he would have continued to slow down Gennady Golovkin. So, Gennady Golovkin is showing some vulnerability to the body. And I would say with Murata started off very well. I think I wasn't scoring the fight, but I would have given Murata probably numerous of the first half of the fight. He started very well. He was pushing Gennady Golovkin back, which was good. And he was working the body, which was good. And he had a nice tight high guard, which was good. I think, Murata can take positives from that. What Murata didn't do so well in this fight was he stopped going to the body. Because when he stopped going to the body, Gennady Golovkin was able to almost, in free flow mode, get his rhythm, which was off at the start of this fight. He was able to get in his rhythm, he was able to get comfortable, and he was able to start, working his combinations. And he's a heavy-handed guy. So even when he's throwing the combinations that don't look hard, those are heavy punches. And Murata allowed Golovkin, he started the fight very well. Golovkin was not in his rhythm. Golovkin hadn't fought since 2020, end of 2020. And he looked rusty. I know Murata hadn't fought since 2019. I believe it's 2019. I can check that actually. Let's see when Murata last fought going into this fight. Murata hadn't fought since 2019. Golovkin to me looked rusty. And Murata, I think by going to the body, which Golovkin doesn't like, he actually he disallowed Golovkin. He wasn't allowing Golovkin to get into any type of rhythm. Gennady was rusty, and he was getting hit to the body, and Murata was pushing him back. Those were good things going from Murata in the first half of the fight. However, Murata, simultaneous to stopping the body attacks, he also allowed Golovkin to get into his rhythm, and he himself started to gas, because perhaps it was the fact that Gennady Golovkin was starting to let his punches flow. They were hitting Murata with regularity as the fight went on, and Murata was starting to feel those punches. He wasn't going to the body anymore, and I think that the sway of the fight started to swing to Gennady Golovkin from about round 6. So after a competitive, very competitive, that you might argue Murata was winning first 5 rounds, Gennady Golovkin started to get into his rhythm, start letting his punches go, and Murata was starting to feel the weight of those punches, and you could tell the stamina was going. He was getting hurt, and he stuck in there, so big up to Murata for that, but you could tell he wasn't enjoying it after about round 6. And round 9 is where the fight ended. You know, Murata was getting hurt, he was backing himself up against the ropes, his feet were all over the place, like he was almost like bending one knee, standing straight with the other knee, and then, you know, he still knew where he was, but his defensive instincts weren't great, and I think that they were trading at some point. Murata got hit with something when he's already tired. He went down the corner, pulled him out. He looked like he contested it. I think the fight was going one way. I think the fight, maybe, you know, his corner did what they did. Maybe if he got up, he could have gone maybe 10 rounds, maybe, but I think that he was going to lose that fight, to be honest with you, because it looked like to me that Murata was hurting Gennady Golovkin to the body, not the head. You know, Murata didn't have the power to hurt Golovkin to the head, but he was hurting him to the body, and I really think Murata, you know, he might regret that, because I thought it was the game plan. I thought Murata's going to the body really well. Maybe he's watched Gennady Golovkin being hurt to the body before, and maybe that's why he's going to the body. But he stopped. He stopped. You know, the body work stopped. I don't know why it stopped, but you know, I don't know why that stopped, because the minute it stopped, Golovkin was having success. So, you know, who knows why? Maybe he got hit with something, maybe game plan went out the window, I don't know, but, you know, either way, what it is Gennady Golovkin gets the win. He has a rough start, he rides it out, he gets the win, he gets the knockout. Now, where from here? Gennady Golovkin, for me, his feet, his legs don't look right to me. For me, his balance has gone a bit. He's not as quick as he used to be. He was never quick, but he's not as quick as he used to be. And I think he's vulnerable to the body, and I think he's getting older. I think he is getting older, but I think he's looking older now. So where he goes from here, I mean, if he wants to make money, go and fight Canelo, I see Canelo knocking him out. He's a tough guy, you know, he can take a punch, but if Canelo is good to the body, and Gennady Golovkin is showing vulnerability to the body. But if he wants to go make some money and retire, then go get the Canelo fight. But I don't see that being competitive. I think that fight should have happened maybe right after the second Canelo fight, because I thought Gennady Golovkin won one of those fights. So, those are my thoughts. Gennady Golovkin gets the win. Respect to both fighters for putting on an entertaining show. And where do you think Gennady Golovkin goes from here? Where do you think Murata goes from here? Murata is 36 years old now, so where does he go from here? He gets his first knockout defeat. And that's pretty much all I have to say on this fight. I don't think there's anything else to really say. Other than Gennady Golovkin, you know, big up to him. He went to Japan and got it done there, so big up to him for that. So I'm going to leave it there. So what did you make of the fight? Where does Gennady Golovkin go from here? Where does Murata go from here? If Golovkin gets a Canelo fight, how do you see that going? Let me know. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next video.